Obviously, a very weird Truck Series race this past weekend. Let's take you right to this first overtime attempt because this is where all the fun stuff happens. Hocevar with control for the restart. Ryan Preece on his outside, going to start hugging him there. You see the inside line doesn't get as good of a jump, all jumbled up behind Ross Chastain, who everyone spins their tires here on this restart. Look at Ty Majeski, though, doing a whale of a job there. You see it a little easier to color correct and highlight it, but Majeski almost sideways there between the 19 and 41 does a good job of saving it, and then gets hooked again as we head down into turns 1 and 2. We're 3 wide for third as the battle for the lead rages on here. Carson Hocevar on the bottom starts drifting up the track. Here comes Ryan Preece, going to try to dump some air on the rear spoiler of that 42 car. Going to get him a little loose here coming up the hill off the corner. You see Hocevar loose, drives it up. Contact with Preece in the wall. I don't know if that's necessarily what we're angry about. I don't think it is. I think down here in 3 and 4 is probably where everyone's a little more angry. Hocevar going to send it down here into this corner. Is going to miss the bottom, drift up through the center of the corner. Looks like he gets loose. There you see it. A little bit of wiggle. He's got 2 options here. You can hit the brake, get off the gas, or you can try to throttle it up and save it. He tries to throttle it up and save it. Wrecks the 2 of them. Caution is out. We're going to have another overtime. And Hocevar after the race absolutely dejected. Really sad to see because obviously dominated the race, 57 laps led. He just needs a hug though. Needs an absolute hug right there. Gets it. Good to see. But here's his comments after the race with Fox immediately after getting out of the truck. These are the first comments you hear about the incident.
A dumbass move by myself. That's it. It just sucks. I tried really hard and tried too hard. I didn't get a good restart.
Didn't get a good restart. Owns up to the fact that he made a mistake, which I think is something that's pretty
admirable. I just tried too hard. I tried to walk him up, and
now.
I just crashed myself. But I feel like a sis crying. But it's all I've ever wanted to do.
Obviously, a lot of emotions there. Now to the other end, from sad to mad with Ryan Preece. An absolutely killer interview that's a little jarring when you watch it. So let's start it off here.
I just want to focus on that final restart, or that restart him and I drove side by side. All you kids watching right now, wanting to get to this level, don't do that.
And I think that's a good point. Don't do that, maybe, but just wanted to highlight, like, he's pointing right at the camera. He wants you to not race like that, just like Uncle Sam wants you for the U.S. military. Let's continue.
Race with respect. Don't wreck the guy on the outside of you trying to win your first race. It doesn't get you anywhere.
A weird take, but okay. Obviously very upset. He did get wrecked. Hocevar did make a mistake. You see, again, here's the replay of it once again. Just wrecks the guy trying to win his first race. He did it.
All I'm going to say is thank you, racechoice.com, for putting me in this truck, because I race for a living, and if I don't run good, I don't make a lot of money. So I'm pissed right now. We got 2 more races to try and go have some good runs, but yeah, that's just stupid. It's just really stupid. Don't be like that.
And here's just the only other mistake I could find for Hocevar was at Vegas, where he's around Preece. Is really the only other time I can remember them being around each other. Hocevar going to get spun here by the 17. Initially got loose because of aero. Preece probably dumped a bunch of air there on the spoiler, took some air out, whatever. Got him loose. Doesn't matter how he got him loose, but obviously, I think there's an incident before this incident. You're not happy if you're Ryan Preece. You got to do well to make a decent amount of money with the deal that he's got going. People comparing this to Ryan Preece and Elliott Sadler at Homestead in 2017, I do believe it was. I don't see the comparison there, if I'm being completely honest with you. But Preece held up Sadler as he was leading the race. It's going to allow William Byron to get on by. Byron's going to go on to win the race, win the championship. Sadler will not be happy after the race. I won't be happy during the race either, as he's trying to, obviously get around him clean. You're leading the race, gets into the wall there, trying to overdrive it. Then he's going to stuff the 18 into the fence here. Voices displeasure. Preece costing him a championship, costing him a win. And after the race, they got angry and stuff. So some of that same type of stuff there with Preece, but I just wanted to point that out. I don't really get the comparisons that people are making, really apples to oranges. Here's Carson after Preece's MRN interview, which was pretty spicy and we can't show.
Right there. Just remember the moment. Yeah. It's not often you get to haul ass like that, and it's not often you wax the field. We just spanked them. and then driver blew it on a restart.
And a lot of that, I mean, everything he says there is correct. Don't see anything wrong with anything he says there. Dominant truck all night, 57 laps led, yada, yada, yada. Hocevar did really well.
That's it.
How much of that came down to the decision, top versus bottom?
A lot of it. Should have taken top, knowing that old tires was probably going to be the way on the top, but it hadn't been firing good all day, and everybody spun the tires and just trying really hard and tried to wash them up a little bit, try to like get them tight, and I crashed myself.
And he crashed himself. He crashed the 17. Again, it takes full responsibility, which is the biggest thing with these younger drivers. It seems like people have an issue with. Hocevar, in this case, does take responsibility for the incident.
This one hurt more than the other ones?
Yeah, it was my own fault, and I didn't finish second. I didn't even finish second. I mean, I finished like 18th or something, so it hurts. I mean, the last few times we hadn't been the best truck, and today it was like unheard of to be that good, so.
When it feels like it's coming for Carson Hocevar, this is where the interview start, the bullpen session, I guess you could call it, gets a little spicy because they started asking him about Preece's comments, which at this point he's heard.
Preece sucks.
Preece is obviously pretty upset. Would you expect him to be in that situation?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I crashed him. I mean, if he wants to high praise of young drivers with no respect, I mean, I just spanked his ass. I mean, like, I waxed him. Like.
And he's going to talk more about this later on in this little session, but it's just still not really respectful saying you spanked his ass. But, you know, it is what it is.
He was the next best, but I put it to him. I mean, I messed up. I made a mistake. I obviously wasn't going to try and crash myself and obviously crash him. I just tried to use him up a little bit, but not even like door him, because you crash when you door each other. I just tried to run him up the racetrack just a little bit, and I just got loose because I got tight and then loose and drove him in the wall, and then I drove way too hard into 3 with the damage I had. So I somewhat heard what he was saying on an MRN, and he has every right to be mad and say what he wants, but I don't agree with it. I think it's just hard racing on old tires, and I made a mistake, and it cost both of us.
Cost both of them, and this is where he's going to kind of expand on those comments about the young driver inexperienced stuff. So just take a listen, because there's some good points in here.
I mean, even if you care, I don't know if you care what you said, but you said that you make a lot of mistakes and it becomes a habit more than just a mistake. So I don't know whether you want to.
I think he's full of shit. I mean, I haven't crashed all year, really. I mean, yeah, I made a mistake at Vegas, so that's it, really. I mean, like, and he was the one that turned me, so if he wants to play that card, sure. The young kid always gets put down and biased because he's the young kid, and, you know, or the rich kid or the money kid, you know, it always is that. You know, it's never just 2 racers driving hard. I expect to get ran the same way, and I'd react the same way, but I wouldn't pull that card, my opinion. And just hard racing with 2 truck drivers. It doesn't matter who's in it.
Some good comments from a young Carson Hocevar, but touches on a really good point there. Is it's we as fans, as media, as drivers, even we've seen it apparent. Really quick to pull out, like he said, that he's a young driver, he's a rich kid, he's whatnot. There obviously are drivers that don't fit that mold that have made their way up, maybe not to the same success as some of the guys that do have that money, but nonetheless, I think both drivers in this situation didn't say too many things wrong. Do you like Preece's delivery? I know I don't. But what he says and what he's saying in that moment is to not drive that aggressive trying to get that win. Don't do something that dumb that's going to take yourself out. And I think Hocevar, obviously, I don't think it's pretty obvious that he will learn from this situation. I mean, Carson Hocevar is pretty talented. He's a young driver still, obviously a second year in trucks, and is not always in the best of equipment either with Nice. I think that's fair to say when you look at the rest of those trucks, besides him and obviously Ross Chastain winning the race. But nonetheless, a situation that's kind of weird, because you got 2 drivers that I think people really like and want to see do well, and they're both angry. well, they're both angry at Carson, I guess, in this case. But overall, a really interesting situation kind of coming out of Charlotte last night. It's fun to talk about these things. Hope you like these videos. If you do, please, oh please, click the like button. Share them with your friends. That would be very appreciated words. And yeah, tell me what you think down below. Do you think Hocevar's in the wrong? Do you find anything wrong with what Ryan Preece said? Do you think he went too far? What would you have done different? I guess you can say that, although I don't know many race car drivers that are probably watching this, unless you are, which would be pretty cool. I'd appreciate a like on the video. Overall, though, hate to see Carson lose a race like that because, man, he deserves to win one. Hate to see Ryan Preece angry and not getting the finish he deserves as well, but sometimes that's just racing things. Anyways, guys, drop a like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time right here on JTN2.